Chosen one, what I'm about to share may surprise you, even shock you. If you're watching this video right now, it's not by coincidence. God led you here because you've been questioning, wondering, maybe even hurting, trying to understand something that's followed you your entire life. The loneliness, the disconnection, the silence. Why don't you fit in? Why do people seem to pull away from you, even when your heart is pure? Why is it that no matter how kind, supportive, or real you are, you still feel like an outsider? Here's the truth. You're not cursed. You're not broken. You are chosen. And being chosen comes with a cost. One of the first prices you'll pay is friendlessness. Because when God sets you apart, He doesn't just elevate your spirit. He isolates it. He removes the crowd, the comfort, the constant companionship, not to punish you, but to protect you. Your spirit is heavy with purpose. You carry divine light. You hold a spiritual weight that not everyone can stand next to. Your energy exposes what others try to hide. Your truth agitates those who live in illusion. And whether they realize it or not, people feel it. Some are drawn to it for healing. Others are repelled by it because it confronts their own spiritual laziness. So they leave. They ghost you. They distance themselves. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? But you didn't do anything wrong. You just walked into the room as your authentic self, and your presence spoke louder than your words. That's what happens when you carry God's favor. You become a mirror, and some people can't handle their reflection. You remind them of everything they've ignored in themselves. You remind them of the calling they abandoned, the conviction they silenced, the version of themselves they've buried beneath validation and conformity. That's why conversations with you feel too deep for some. That's why surface-level relationships don't satisfy you. Because your soul wasn't wired for the shallow. It was built for depth, for meaning, for truth. God didn't call you to be popular. He called you to be pure. He didn't assign you a crowd. He gave you a cross. And those who are truly chosen must walk alone before they lead others. You see, loneliness isn't your punishment. It's your training ground. It's in the silence that you start to hear God more clearly. It's in the isolation that your spiritual gifts begin to activate. It's when no one's clapping that your obedience gets tested. And it's when everyone walks away that you find out just how close heaven has been all along. Chosen one, your path is different because your calling is different. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand apart. That's why friendship, for you, was never about numbers. It's always been about alignment. And in this season, God is pruning, removing anything, anyone, any place that's not rooted in your next level. Some of those friends who left, they didn't walk away by accident. God allowed the separation because they couldn't come where you're going. Not because they were evil, but because they were unprepared. Your next season requires people who pray for you in private, not just pose with you in public. You need those who sharpen your spirit, not stroke your ego. And that kind of connection, it's rare, it's refined, and it can't be forced. So until those kinds of souls arrive, God will keep you hidden, not to make you suffer, but to preserve you, to build the foundation of your identity in Him alone, not in the opinions of people who barely know themselves. You're being trained in solitude because your impact will be felt in multitudes. So don't curse the loneliness. Don't rush to fill the void. Don't settle for companions who drain your energy just to avoid the silence. Because in that silence, you're becoming powerful. In that quiet, you're being equipped. In that stillness, God is planting revelation, wisdom, strength, and vision that no group chat can give you. It's not that you have no friends. It's that the ones you need haven't been revealed yet. God is still writing their roles. He's still aligning the timing. He's still orchestrating divine connections that won't fumble your worth. But until then, be okay walking alone. Because you're not really alone. Heaven walks with you. Angels stand guard. And your assignment is too critical to be distracted by meaningless company. You've been chosen, not to chase friendships, but to attract divine alliances. This is your season of becoming. And while others gather around noise, you're being drawn deeper into purpose. And when the time is right, God will bring the right ones, not to complete you, but to complement what He's already doing within you. You're not friendless. You're fortified. You're not abandoned. You're anointed. And this loneliness isn't empty. It's holy. Chosen one, let's go deeper. Because what you're going through isn't random. It's prophetic. God's been hiding you in plain sight. You think you're invisible, overlooked, forgotten. But what's actually happening is sacred. You're being preserved for divine appointments. You're being protected from premature exposure. The truth is, if certain people had access to you too soon, they would have drained you, distracted you, or even derailed your destiny. You would have poured into empty vessels, begged for loyalty, and tolerated dishonor, all in the name of having friends. But God saw it coming, and He said, "Not this time." You've been wondering why it's always almost when it comes to connection. Almost close, almost safe, almost real. And then, silence, distance, misunderstanding. But that wasn't rejection. That was redirection. God isn't letting you settle for people who only tolerate your light. He's preparing people who can carry it. People who don't just clap when you're up, but cover you when you're breaking. People who see your anointing and don't compete, but protect it. And that's why you've been alone. Because heaven is doing quality control in your life. No more counterfeit connections. No more people who secretly resent your growth. No more friends who only check in when they need something. This isolation has been an X-ray. It's revealed who's for you and who was just around you. And now, God is rebuilding your circle from scratch. Not based on vibes, but on vision. Not based on history, but on destiny. You won't have many, but you'll have the right ones. Those who speak life into your purpose. Those who can sit with your silence and not feel threatened. Those who sharpen your gifts, challenge your thinking, and never make you shrink to keep the peace. Because let's be honest, you've spent years playing small just to fit in. You've dimmed your light to avoid making others uncomfortable. You've quieted your truth because people labeled it too intense. But God is done with that version of you. You're not meant to blend. You're meant to blaze, to stand out, to speak up, to lead boldly. And the friends that are coming, they'll get it. You won't have to explain your warfare. They'll recognize the call on your life because they carry one too. Your connection won't be based on pain. It'll be built on purpose. You'll laugh differently, heal differently. Because iron sharpens iron, and for the first time, you'll finally feel seen. Not just for your strength, but for your scars. Not just for your gifts, but for your growth. But you had to go through the silence to recognize the sound of true alignment. That's why God stripped the noise. He removed the distractions. He let the fake fall away, so you could learn to live without what you once begged for. Now, you walk with discernment. You no longer chase approval. You no longer attach to what doesn't pour back. You're moving different, talking different, praying different. Because solitude rewired you. It made you unshakable. It taught you how to survive with no applause and still stay obedient. And that's power. That's spiritual maturity. That's what qualifies you to walk in rooms you once cried to be part of and own them without needing validation. You are becoming someone who no longer needs friendship to feel whole, but who will attract friendships that are whole. No more broken bonds. No more trauma bonding. No more soul-draining attachments masked as loyalty. This is your healed era, where peace is the standard, where alignment is the filter, where solitude is no longer punishment. It's preparation. You're not friendless. You're in formation. Heaven is surrounding you with angels, and soon, people with matching assignments. Kingdom-minded souls, covenant connections, chosen ones like you, with fire in their spirit and purpose in their bones. And you'll look back on this lonely season and thank God, because it taught you to love your own company, It taught you to sit with your soul and still find peace. It taught you to rely on God's voice, not the crowd's echo. So when they come, and they will, you'll know the difference. You'll recognize the sound of someone who's been in the wilderness too. You'll see the hunger in their spirit. You'll feel the authenticity in their presence. And you'll know this one was sent by God. Chosen one. Everything you've lost in loneliness is being restored in alignment. God is giving you back the tribe, the connection, the intimacy, but without the compromise. You're stepping into a season where the people in your life will feel like answers to old prayers, where conversations will nourish your soul, where silence between you and them won't be awkward, it'll be holy. Because when chosen ones meet, ego dies. Competition dies. Only purpose remains. So trust this season. Honor the solitude. God has been pruning you for divine placement.